Yesterday on Sports Day, we discussed how these Miami Dolphins could possibly win 10, 11, maybe even 12 games. Now, Vlad, you have to agree that one thing that has to happen is Tua Tagovailoa has to stay healthy. We saw what happened last year when Tua Tagovailoa did not play every game and how bad things got, how desperate things got when Tua was injured at the end of the season, the beginning of the season, kind of in the middle of the season. Tua has to stay healthy. And you and I, Vlad, we talked about this. We've lost some leaders on this team. Terron Armstead retired. Calais Campbell goes back to the Arizona Cardinals. We have said maybe the void in leadership in this team should be Tua Tagovailoa. And from what we're now hearing, not only is Tua sharpening his skills, he is also sharpening his leadership tools. Recently, his O-lineman, his main man, Terron Armstead, who had to retire due to some knee issues. Really, he played on a bad knee for what? How many years, Vlad? 3 years here in Miami?
I've been playing with a bad knee ever since he got signed.
Yeah. So his whole time in Miami, just toughed it out, did a yeoman's job. Very proud of him. Recently said, since he's played with Drew Brees and since he's played with Tua Tagovailoa, he compared those two guys. And he recently went on one of the talk shows and he was talking about Tua, Drew Brees, and he kind of explained what he means by saying Tua and Drew Brees are somewhat and almost very similar.
I made that comparison. I see similarities. I'm not saying that they're the same player or same person. No two people are.
What's similar?
The anticipation, the accuracy, timing of throws, the ability to knock a wing off a fly.
Mm-hmm.
Repeatedly, those guys throw darts. They don't throw to areas. They are very precise.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an elite talent. It's elite trait. Very few people possess. He's one of them, and Drew Brees another.
So what's missing, do you think? Just his ability to be available? Is that essentially the piece that's missing?
I would say, Rich, time on task. Yeah, his having more experience, getting more reps, getting more snaps. I don't know exactly where Drew Brees was going into his 6th year.
Sure.
I know he had a shoulder that had to get reconstructed when he signed to New Orleans and really turned his career, even pushed his career even further to be the Hall of Fame player that he was.
So that's Terron Armstead. Was it the Rich Eisen?
Sounds like Rich Eisen show.
Rich Eisen show.
Because Terron's been in LA. I think he was doing the NFL Network. I saw him with MJ Acosta and I think Brandon Jennings, the running back. And he's been out in the West Coast doing a lot of hits. Been doing the hits.
Yeah, he's doing what we call a car wash. And it's obviously a car wash because he's wearing the same outfit in every single one of the hits. So they're just taking him around. So nonetheless, let's not digress from that. Let's not talk about
No, he's just been doing the hits, and it seems like he's trying to get into television, and he's been doing a good job. But yes, obviously they've been talking about the Miami Dolphins, which was his last team. And obviously the talk is always going to be about Tua and his health issues. And they were both small. They both if you're doing a comparison with Drew Brees, right? They're both smaller quarterbacks, shorter quarterbacks. Drew Brees did definitely live off the throwing the ball to areas instead of throwing the ball at the receiver. But Drew had a better, to me, no disrespect to Coach McDaniel, but Drew, Sean Payton's way better than Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, we're seeing what he's done in Denver. At first, it was a train wreck.
I mean, everybody's thinking that Denver might be the team to upend the Chiefs this year in the AFC West.
We shall see that.
We shall see. But I don't know about the comparisons like that.
A couple things I do like about what Terron Armstead said. We got to now just take this for the fact that it is. Everyone says that Tua is extremely accurate and that he goes through his motions and everything with great precision. He, knock a ring off a fly. So we have to just admit now that Tua, whether you like him or not, is extremely accurate and that he goes through with a lot of precision. That's good. What I like about Terron Armstead and what Terron Armstead said, and maybe I have a little more, experience with it, is Drew Brees didn't come out a finished product. He was a product at work. There were some years, especially with the Saints. I watched them. There were years that this team went 7-9, 7-9. Drew Brees would make some plays that blew your mind. Then he'd make some plays that absolutely just made you just frustrated. Drew Brees did not automatically play as a Hall of Fame player. Tua Tagovailoa is trying to evolve, and that's what Terron Armstead was saying. More time, more reps, more experience, getting more down into clutch games, getting the process down and kind of seeing it happen is big deal. Because, like I said, there were times early in Drew Brees' career with the Saints that there were some times.
I don't know about that. I can't say that, Dan, because Drew was winning when he was in San Diego. He got banged up. I mean, they drafted Phillip Rivers, and that was the move. And he got his shoulder got really injured, and he could have been a Miami Dolphin. We know the situation. We've talked about this. Nick Saban, the doctor said no. And yes, it took him a while because first he was banged up. That shoulder injury was pretty severe.
A lot of teams didn't want to touch him except the Saints.
And nobody wanted to touch him, but Sean Payton knew that he can work with that guy. His skill set was perfect for the offense he wanted to run. And yes, it's going to take you a while because you got to get your confidence back after an injury, and you're learning from a very demanding coach who gives you a lot for you to take in, and for you to break it down, get the right call, get the right audibles. There's a lot. They talked about it with the Denver Bo Nix right now. You saw they did a piece where they had Drew Brees and Chase Daniel talking about what was it like early for Bo Nix in his rookie year to understand the Sean Payton's offense. So I think, you're gonna have struggles, but once he got that offense, and one thing that the Saints did, they protected Drew Brees, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Terron Armstead was there. They've always had a great left tackle for their quarterback with the Saints. I give Mickey Loomis and Sean Payton credit with that. Their O-line was always legit. That's the key for the Miami Dolphins. If their O-line is legit, it should be able to keep Tua standing upright. So, yeah.
What you don't understand, too, is with Drew Brees, it wasn't all just double-digit win seasons. The first year he and Sean Payton get in there 10-6. That was a playoff season. 7-9, 8-8. They have an unbelievable draft. That's the 13-3 season. Super Bowl, they had a couple of runs, 11-5, 13-3. Then they go back to 7-9, 11-5, then 7-9, 7-9, 7-9. Then they get back the ebb and flow to 11 wins, 13, 12. So to sit there and to say that.
And how many years did he play for the?
He played for the Saints a lot of years.
How many of that?
11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years.
15 years. And how many winning seasons he had with them?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So 9 out of 15.
Yeah. So he was 9-6.
9 and 5. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, 60%. So yeah, I'll take a quarterback giving me 60% of winning seasons and a Super Bowl.
But to sit there and say that, like Drew Brees just always won everything, Tua's going to have some of these ebbs and flows, and he's actually, for the most part, when he started.
But think about that, Dan. You're a diehard Saints fan, so all the years. But in our minds, because of Brees' legacy, the numbers that he put up, and the fact that he won that Super Bowl, we're always going to think he had an unbelievable run. That's it. Look. We said this last week. The Panthers now are a dynasty. So that year that they had the President's Cup and they lost is not considered a bad thing anymore. It's actually considered a great thing.
Seen as one of the steps.
It's seen as one of the steps. That's what happens when you put up numbers like that. So yes, guess what? If the Dolphins win 2 in a row Super Bowls, nobody's going to remember about these early years.
No, we're going to talk about how great Tua was from the very beginning. As soon as they took the shackles off
of
him.
Even we're going to say how he overcame that and look at what he's done. It's going to be more of a, early on he struggled. He had concussions and everything, but he bounced back and showed the warrior and the greatness that he possessed. And look, the Miami Dolphins are back-to-back Super Bowl champs, two-time Super Bowl MVP. Guess what? He's a legend now. He's a legend. And all the negative stuff is going to be used. It's not going to be brought back as, criticism anymore.
Oh, that's forgotten.
No, it's going to be as it was used as motivation, and that propelled him to become the player that he is. So yeah, we're not gonna remember that.
So Terron Armstead has played with both Drew Brees, Tua Tagovailoa. He has compared both of them and giving you reasons why. And now he's just saying for Tua to get up to Drew Brees' level, he just needs more repetition and, of course, to stay healthy. We have to trust in Terron Armstead on that. Now,
well, to get repetitions, you need it. Yeah,
stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
So stay healthy, and probably the rest will fall into place. Most likely, we hope. Tyreek Hill always got something to say. He's got to talk about number one. He was talking with a former number one, at least number-wise, number one, Johnny Manziel earlier this week. And really, he also sang the praises of one Tua Tagovailoa.
Like his QBR is like number one, but I feel like Tua has gotten better every year as a leader. Ever since Mike came in, Tua has taken hold of, you know what I'm saying, being that franchise quarterback for this team. And I feel like this year, he's taking it to another level. You know what I'm saying? The first year was, getting acclimated, getting comfortable with who we were as a team. The second year was finding our identity, and we was like the number one offense. But this year, I feel like Tua has really, grabbed on to being our franchise guy. And he stepped up in ways that we all need him to step up in. You know what I'm saying? He's holding guys accountable. He's making sure guys are, at the right spot, for him. And he's cussing out the old linemen whenever they're not protecting them. So I feel like I'm seeing a different version of Tua. And like, I remember when I was in Kansas City, this is like, bro, I used to see the same thing from Pat. It was a beautiful thing, man. So I'm just grateful to be a part of it.
Okay, so before we get excited, Vlad, about the good things that Tyreek Hill said about Tua, yes, there was a glaring omission of, man, he came here, learned the system, second year greatest offense in the league. This year we're going to do this. He kind of left out last year. That's okay. Let's just forget about last year.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, first year, you're trying to get acclimated with us. Second year, we were the number one offense, and then this year, wait, what happened? What happened? 2024 didn't happen?
In the past.
Huh?
In the past.
Come on, man. Stop it.
So now we've talked about this. We both agree for this Dolphins team to be successful, Tua Tagovailoa is going to have to be one of the unquestioned leaders on this team because there seems to be a void in leadership. And who better than your number one player, number one paid player, supposed to be your best player on the team than Tua Tagovailoa? And Tyreek Hill is telling you he's stepping it up even more so. He's cussing out linemen when they're not blocking him. He's going out there and leading his team. Before? No, obviously not. Saying he's seen a lot of, now this is the guy who's played with Patrick Mahomes, saying a lot of Patrick Mahomes into a Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, but guess what?
This is the year. This is the year Tua Tagovailoa.
Pat learned. You see,
Tua's learning.
Okay. Well, you know what? Pat's always had one coach, and that coach has always believed in him. Tua had a shaky couple of years, but I don't know who's that. I'm not gonna get back into that.
There's
Flores into a situation, but he has his coach now.
That's true.
All right, and this is year 4.
That's true.
So you got to show improve because guess what? Joe Burrow been to a Super Bowl.
He's also led the league in passing, which Tua has done also.
Jalen Hurts been to 2 Super Bowls,
1-1,
and is a Super Bowl MVP. Right?
Yes, that is correct.
So the only team that
Justin Herbert's been to the playoffs a couple of times.
He's been to the playoff a couple of times. He's 0-2. But guess what? All those coaches, all those quarterbacks have good coaches. The question now is, can Mike McDaniel get Tua to a level? We know he could get the numbers, but can he get him to a level where he can win games on the road or win games against teams with winning records so that the Miami Dolphins can host a postseason game? That's it. Then you got to look at this right there. That's how you got to look at it. This is what, year 6 of Tua?
That's it.
So it's year 6 and 2. Like, come on, bro. Like most quarterbacks, you're lucky if you get a quarterback that plays 10 years. So now he's past the halfway point.
Year 4 of Mike McDaniel.
So this is year 6 for Tua. First year of his extension.
Yes, that is correct.
A 5-year deal. All right, Payboy.
That's it. Look, what comes
Playboy?
with the paycheck, what comes with the extension is expectations of you, A, staying as healthy as possible and being a leader of this team. And Tyreek Hill's telling you that he is taking a big step and being a leader of this team. That is something, once again, if the Dolphins do hope to get, like we said yesterday, Vlad, to 10, to 11, to 12 wins even, that's going to happen, man. Tua is going to have to be one of the unquestioned leaders of this team. Tyreek Hill says that he's being more vocal. He's getting after it. He's coaching.
Yo, Chase, I said the same thing yesterday. Like, come on, man. Right now, you got to understand who the message is coming from, bro.
I understand.
He's not a person right now that's looked upon very well with the Dolphin fan base. This is the same guy. Yeah, you're with Johnny Manziel. You know what? I remember that there was some criticism I took for not mentioning Tua, my quarterback, in the top 5 a month ago or 2 months ago in a video. Let me prop him up. Let me give him. After a while, enough propping. Like, you're always going to give your teammates credit, and you're going to always have their back. But sometimes it's just a little too much propping. It's time for him. No more propping, bro. You can't baby the kid anymore.
Well, the thing is, they always say it. If he's healthy, he's got to be healthy. Health is number one. Health. I really do feel this year for Tua, if his health is all right, everything else is going to start falling into place.
You know what I want from Tua this year? I need a complete season. And when I mean complete, I'm talking about you play 15, 16 games, right?
I did just have that vision, though.
You put up the numbers that we know you have put up before and can, but just an aura feeling like that. Yeah, that's number one. That's the guy. Like, that's the leader. That's the effing leader of this squad.
You bring up the good point, Vlad.
That's what I want.
Tua needs to be a leader, and it's hard to lead from the sidelines, but also at the same time. So you stay healthy. But number 2, do you remember last year when he was on the sidelines? He's sitting on the sidelines, not talking to anybody, wearing the sunglasses. That didn't look like a leader, though. Remember that when he was on the sidelines at games? That's not a leader. A leader's out there getting after it.
And we don't know what goes on in the locker room. So he might be leading, but sometimes the optics for the fans and for the viewers, it needs to show, or it needs to, resemble some type of, okay, he's the alpha. He's the guy. He's the thing. Everybody follows number one.
To me, the thing is, optics are important.
It is, because
I hate when people say that. Oh, optics don't mean anything. No, they do. They do.
In this sport, it does.
Absolutely.
Because here's the thing, right? Tyreek, like we said last year, I don't know about giving him the money because the antics are going to happen. Antics happen. But now he's your leader. He's your voice of reason. He's the guy that you need to talk for the Mike McDaniel, Jalen Ramsey beef. He's the guy that's and it's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? This guy was also the one that wanted to be traded and, didn't want to be involved in the game. This is why everything's bad right now. Optic-wise,
yes.
Optic-wise for the Dolphins, because you're looking at a coach who's on the hot seat, a general manager that nobody respects right now.
A quarterback that has health issues and question marks.
And your star players that one doesn't want to play for, and the other one, you don't know if he wants to be on your team or doesn't want to be on your team. And,
And on paper, unless you haven't really added a lot to this team that had a losing record last year. So.
And seems like you're going down instead of trending upward.
Hence why you have to stay healthy and change the culture. So we'll have to.
And then now you're talking about a culture, which is crazy now in South Florida, because South Florida, you got one team in South Florida that people are questioning if the culture still has the same aura, and you have another team that's trying to capture a culture.
We have one team that
start a culture after 3 years.
There's one that you can't even question their culture.
And you have one team that they're the cultures of cultures right now.
And maybe all of sports.
That's what I'm saying. In all of sports.
Maybe them and the Kansas City Chiefs are,
And maybe the Eagles. Those are the and we'll throw in OKC Thunder because I give Sam Presti credit. Sam Presti's always had a game plan, and you can always see that he's always followed it through. So they've had their success. But the teams that are winning now, the teams that have consistently been towards the end of the playoffs in whatever respective sports, the Panthers have been in 3 Stanley Cups. Kansas City Chiefs has either been in the Super Bowl or a conference championship. Those teams have cultures.
Maybe we can keep some of the culture with the Miami Dolphins.